I don't know if this is gonna work. My tripod was on the ground, but now that I'm in the hammock, I realize it is swaying with the hammock. Okay, well, that's fine. Now you're in the hammock with me. Welcome to Hammock Time.
Hammock time.
A new segment on this channel where I basically sit in my hammock and yap. As you know, I've been putting videos out. Oh my gosh. I need to get an actual microphone, but hopefully some bird uses this, but they're not. Hang on. What? I'll seeing that for the next few weeks. So welcome to Hammock Time.
Hammock time.
Fucking love my hammock. This hammock just has a way of just holding me and swaying me ever so gently that I'm just like, yes, this is all I need. I love Hammock Time. I wanted to talk about some artists that I admire and why. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get a clear sense of like my artist's philosophy. My artist philosophy, just like a creative North Star of like what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. And I think that would really help me to feel like I'm moving in the right direction. The first artist that I wanted to talk about that I admire is Doechii. Alligator Bites Never Heal album came out, well, I don't know. I started listening to it in December though, and I became very quickly obsessed. I listened to that album on repeat for many, many months. And then I started getting into some of her older stuff and learning more about her as a person, as an artist. And I just really, really admire her. When I think of Doechii, I think of someone who has like this fearless self belief, has a YouTube series where she does The Artist Way. If you're not familiar, The Artist Way is a book that leads you through 12 weeks of creative recovery. I started it back in 2023 and I have yet to finish. I might just start over and do a YouTube series on it, just like Doechii did. And she talks about getting fired from Chipotle, and then going to all these studios in LA, and she's just like, what do I have to lose? You know, her music is just okay. Another reason I love Doechii is she really understands her craft. And I think that's a beautiful thing to like really understand and deeply study and be like a student of your craft. Things I take from Doechii is fearless self-belief. Oh my god, that one song where she sings me, I'm narcissistic. Uh, I am a black girl who beat the statistics. Oh my god, she's so good. Yeah, basically, if you're a woman and you believe in yourself, it is likely that other people are going to think that you're narcissistic. um, and I think Amy Poehler, I listened to her podcast. I also admire Amy Poehler quite a bit. She's funny and also very sweet and warm-hearted. She talked about how like when a woman is successful, she's supposed to be like surprised, like, "Oh, I didn't even know," or like, "I didn't realize like this was going to happen." You're supposed to act like really modest and like you don't know the value that you add to the world. And I think that's fucked up. I think that it's really beautiful to have self belief. And like Amy Poehler said, she's just like, yeah, I believed in myself and I worked hard and here I am. It wasn't a shock to me. I admire people who are able to make light of life. It's something that I'm working on doing more. Next, I was thinking of Chaperone. I started listening to her music. I had Casual in my like songs for like a year probably, but I didn't start listening to her a whole bunch until last summer when I heard Hot to Go. Totally fell in love with her music. Like that album was just like the soundtrack of my whole summer last summer. I listened to it on repeat. And she just released a new single. It's called The Subway. I started listening to it while I was editing this video, and I'm already really into it. I really admire Chaperone for similar reasons to Doechii, where I feel like she had this talent and this fearless self belief. She moved to LA from Missouri and signed to the same label that Sabrina Carpenter was on, put out some music, wasn't that successful. I think that her label dropped her. And so she moved back home. She just kept working at it. And then you see her at festivals with like, huge crowds of people doing Hot to Go with her. And I just think, yeah, that fearless self belief and that tenacity is what it takes to be an artist. Exactly. That I admire in Chaperone. And then now that she's really big, I see her having really good boundaries. I think that female artists like Britney Spears or any other. Once they get really big, there's this expectation that like they owe us something. She has walk away power, she's got plenty of money and she doesn't need to stay in any situation that makes her uncomfortable or that she's not enjoying. Respects herself enough to protect her energy and value her most precious commodity, which is herself. Plus, her songs are just uplifting, inspiring, fun, unique, beautiful. Great. She's just amazing songwriter and vocalist. Her yodeling. I love it. Next artist I admire is Emma Chamberlain. Of course, I admire Emma Chamberlain because she is who inspired me to actually do this video, but also to like come up with an artist philosophy because she talked about hers on one of her recent podcasts. And she talked about how she is the most creative when she is really healthy and balanced, when she feels at peace and content. That's when she feels most creative. And I really related to that because I really don't understand artists that are like, I'm most creative when I'm really depressed or like when I'm super drunk. I think that creativity is something really essential to my health and well being. For me, like when I'm feeling out of balance, my creativity is not as strong. I can't hear that voice as vividly. And just the way that she has many different creative outlets and she just uses her life as a creative canvas. Thing I also like heard that she doesn't even look at her bank account because she doesn't want like monetary incentive to like change her decisions on things. I thought that was really beautiful and smart. Another artist that I really admire is Anna Howard. She is the host of Wild Geese, which is a YouTube channel. I guess it's a podcast. She has a Substack too. I don't know. I just recently started watching her. I'm really impressed by the way that she weaves together like pop culture. Like she'll insert like memes and tweets into all the topics that she talks about, but also like seems to do a lot of really like in-depth research and really understands what she's talking about. So I really like, yeah, the way that she researches and organizes her thoughts into this really beautiful and cohesive spoken word essay, I guess is what it is. I don't know. She's incredible. Wild Geese, watch it. I just watched the one on sensuality and it was very inspiring and cool. Okay, and the last artist that I really admire is Monet. I don't know, it seems random maybe, but I went to the Met Museum with my sister in November and we saw Monet at the Met. And I was just really inspired by his paintings because they elicited such a huge emotional response from me. And I just admire any artist who's able to elicit a strong emotional response. That's what I really am looking for when I'm consuming any form of art is to feel something and to feel connected in some way. And I just thought it was really amazing that through his paintings, I could connect to somebody from another era in such a um, profound way. I just thought it was really beautiful the way that I didn't really describe this right, so I'm just going to do a quick voiceover. But the way that Monet paints his impression of nature is the way that I feel and experience nature. So that's why I find his work so deeply inspiring. Okay, my recording ended because I yapped for too long. But I do want to finish this. Monet, impressionist artist, and I just think it's really beautiful how he's able to elicit such a strong response with just an impression of life. Because all art really is just an impression of life, right? I think of myself as a very like realistic kind of artist where I share about my life, I tell stories about my life, and they're all true, real stories. I don't make anything up, but what I choose to share and how I choose to show my life is an impression of life, right? And that concludes our first episode of Hammock Time. Thanks so much for watching. This morning I watched the most beautiful sunrise from my bedroom window, so I'm in a really good mood. And I don't know if I'll have more of these, but if you really like Hammock Time, let me know. And I got more ideas of other things I can yap about. So I hope you have a really great day. Mwah.